I guess I'd say the principal thing. I mean, obviously, Jones Act is a big factor in maritime because it defines, for example, in the case of personal injury claims, Jones Act tells you how to calculate them, and it's pretty much the way we do it anyway. But a lot of people view it as, it's this unique, different thing. Well, you're a maritime lawyer. That's guys you think that. That's actually the way we do that in every other industry. Jones Act just codified it for purposes of personal injury in the maritime. But the other side of it is in terms of the liens and cargoes and where they at, arresting ships, that kind of stuff. From a standpoint of damages, that doesn't really affect us. It is unique in the industry. Maritime cases I've been involved in was obviously, I told Chris this, there was a terrible, tragic accident many, many years ago in the North Sea. And a number of offshore workers were killed and injured in this. And my firm worked, and my firm was at that time 4 people, so it's pretty small. We worked on that case. One of my partners testified in Scotland on the damage, the personal injury losses, the wrongful death claims on it. That was Piper Alpha. But again, looking at it from a standpoint, it's kind of under maritime law. But when you look at the law, at least as it relates to what we were working on, it wasn't unique in the calculation. It's more unique in the circumstances. We've been approached on, had an interesting, we didn't get the job. The client decided not to do it, but an interesting problem with a cruise ship that they had a contract to a shipyard to do maintenance work on the ship. And apparently there was a problem, and the ship, the maintenance did not do what it was supposed to do. The ship ended up having to come into port for an extended stay as they went back in and repaired whatever had to be repaired. The ship was tied up for like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, something like that. It was 4 weeks worth of, that's a lot of passengers in 4 weeks. And the question came up, was, okay, we've got to determine lost profits. And I sat there and I started sketching out on I think it was on a glass wall like that, writing on it. When you think about it, I was looking at it, I said, well, I don't know, the company should have this information. They track everything on board ships. They got POS machines everywhere. So, we need to get that information so we can calculate, what's the liquor sale revenue loss? What's the shop sale revenue loss? What are the, excursions? All that. I mean, that's all detailed there. And then we can we can identify the costs. What's called avoidable costs. What costs would they have incurred to pour that liquor to, all of this kind of thing. And they kept coming back, well, the client says they don't have that information. He says, I know they have that information. They just don't know they have it. I mean, these are computers everywhere on that ship that tie this information in. And that ship reports every day what's going on. There's a liquor manager somewhere in California or Florida who gets a report from all the ships of all the liquor sales at all the bars. Same thing with the food service operations. Same thing with guest services. All of that. And maritime. Other stuff, funky stuff. We did a case involving a rate increase by pilots, and I'd never worked on pilots before, and really dug into it. It was fascinating. Do you know? The pilots make a lot of money. A lot of money. And I'm not talking about revenue. I'm talking about putting in their pocket money. They make a lot. And it's quite interesting because a lot of data on the costs, for example, fuel costs, is available from the U.S. Navy, the Department of Navy, and their annual defense logistics plan. So it was fascinating work. It was a small job. I got to do most of it myself, but it was a lot of fun.